Now that you're up. You see, in my home, when the early riser gets up, they make so much noise that you can't sleep. You have to get up with them. Now that you are up, it's time for you to be engaged and to understand the place where we are right now. We're in an unusual place in America. Our very liberties, our very Constitution is in jeopardy.
Yes!
Now that you're up, you need to fight and to push back against the power elite who is seeking to undermine our constitutional rights. Someone said to us that the Constitution is dying a death of 1,000 cuts. It was Joseph Stalin who said this, that America is like a healthy body. Its strength is in its patriotism, its spiritual life, and its morality. If we can undermine them in those three areas, America will collapse from within. Men and women, we are witnessing the collapse of our nation. Now that you're up, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? Thomas Jefferson told us that to secure these rights, governments are instituted. But when governments become destructive to that end, it is the right of the governed to alter or abolish it. What we are witnessing, men and women, right before our eyes, is what Rahm Emanuel told us would happen with crises. He says, never let a serious crisis go to waste, for it's an opportunity to do the things you thought you couldn't do before the crisis. This is a crisis, I believe, that's in the vein of Cloward and Piven, who believes in an orchestrated or manufactured crisis in order to change us. Have you noticed that there are elected officials who are pushing against our constitutional rights? They're taking this crisis to encroach incrementally on those guarantees that God has given to us within our Constitution. But there's good news. The good news was written by Mark Levin in his book called Liberty and Tyranny. He said this, quote, "The remedy to tyranny is conservatism, precisely because its principles are the founding principles." Men and women, what you represent here tonight is the spirit of 1776. The spirit of 1776, let me remind you, because there are many of you who are out here who are engaging the idea of a rally. But the spirit of 1776 was a spirit of revolt. It was a spirit of rebellion. It was a spirit that pushed back against the tyrant King George. Men and women, we have a tyrant in Dallas County who's reaching in and using this crisis to manipulate our liberties. And the question is, now that you are up, what are you going to do about it? The time for action is now. And when you leave this place, go and tell your sons and your daughters that their liberty is in jeopardy, that the very freedoms that you and I have enjoyed and grew up on is about to be taken away. I want to share this idea, and then I want to remind you that we will be rallying again Tuesday downtown at Dealey Plaza in front of the book depository, so that Clay Jenkins can hear us when we tell him we don't want you anymore.
That's right. Right.
But now that you're up, you need to recognize that the goal, the end game, that the power elite is seeking to perpetrate upon you is forced vaccinations. Hold up, wait a minute. You don't know half of it. There's an organization in San Marcos, a company called Quantum Material Corporation. Anybody hear that organization? Quantum Material Corporation. They have come up with what they call the immunization passport. They specialize in nanotechnology. And they have created in nanotechnology, nanoparticles that they will inject in you through the vaccination. Yep. Those particles go in and they will read off information. And they are bragging that they can track and trace every American in the nation. Does that sound like the mark of the beast to somebody?
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Now that you're up, this is not just about getting your jobs back. This is about pushing those tyrants out of elected offices. This is about taking our government back from those who are robbing us of our liberty. Now that you're up, I'm glad to see you. In fact, there should be 10 million of us out here right now. But where are our sons and our daughters? That's my question to you. Where's your son who's 20 and 25 and 30 years old, sitting at home looking only to get a job and will be satisfied with a job and allow the power elite to drive us into global government? One world government is the aim. Bill Gates is moving us in that direction. George Soros, Bloomberg, all the billionaires are moving us in that direction. Why are they resisting hydroxychloroquine? It takes away the narrative that we all must be vaccinated. Anthony Fauci sits on Bill Gates' board of directors. So does Debbie Birx. And they're all pushing vaccination when the cure is hydrochloroquine. It's not incidental or accidental, men and women. Now that you are up, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it now that you're up? Now I'm going to end this. Thank you, Debbie. Michelle, for allowing me a few moments. I only came up here to tell you that the momentum that's being created here ought to show itself on Tuesday. Yes. Right in front of Clay Jenkins' eyes and ears. Let him hear us at 11 o'clock a.m. Dealey Plaza. The answer to tyranny is conservatism, precisely because its principles are the founding principles.